a jeweled crown on the map of India. Kashmir, yes, a many-faceted diamond, and keeps changing its landscapes, with the seasons, and they are always extravagantly beautiful. The three great Himalayan ranges are snow-capped, forming a great majestic, landscape from the northwest to the northeast. A birthplace for beautiful rivers. They flow down the valley, and the valley is forested with wild orchards and the beautiful orchards and lily-laden lakes, and that is the beauty of Kashmir. And it is believed that never we would be, be able to do justice whenever we are talking about the beauty of Kashmir. Professor R.L.Hangloo, born and brought up in the picturesque valley of Kashmir. We are blessed, sir, to have you one more time on Face to Face with Rashi. And it's an exclusive talk for our viewers, for the students, for the researchers, for the people who love Kashmir, would like to know about Kashmir. And Professor R.L.Hangloo, Vice-Chancellor of University of Allahabad and the former Vice-Chancellor of Kalyani University, West Bengal. So, as it is said, words fall short when we define beauty of Kashmir. But still, my first question to you is, how beautiful is Kashmir?
I would say Kashmir is the most beautiful place in the world. When the first Aryan tribe came and entered Kashmir, the tribal leader picked up his hand and said, Kashyapa, in Sanskrit. Kashyapa, that means what a beauty.
Oh.
What a wonderful land, you can imagine. That means even the Aryans had not seen, before entering Kashmir, they had not seen such a beautiful place. And it is no doubt about it. Most beautiful place.
Right, and I also read, sir, that the word Kashmir, it comes from some Sanskrit word.
Yes, Kashyapa is a Sanskrit word.
It's a Sanskrit word. And what it means, sir?
Kashyapa means the most beautiful land.
Okay. Oh my God. So born and brought up in Kashmir. So do you have your memories as a boy? I mean, because as a child, when you're born and brought up in that beauty, I mean, what is the upbringing of a child? Like when nature becomes the teacher?
You see, I tell you, the upbringing of the child in Kashmir is, in fact, when a Kashmiri boy is born, the first thing the parents say, that don't go and abuse anybody. Don't pick up the bad habits.
Oh.
These are the first lessons.
Yeah.
Don't destroy the nature. Don't fiddle with the environment.
Oh, that's
These
so
are
lovely.
the things that is being taught.
Yeah. Because as literature students, William Wordsworth, when we talk about him, he always used to say, when nature becomes your mentor, when nature becomes your guide, when nature becomes your educator, you're going to be the perfect human being.
Human being, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that is what is the beauty of Kashmir and the people. Right. So, fine. So, place of beauty, garden, lakes, a tourist spot. That is what fascinates us towards Kashmir.
Right, that's true.
So, how it helps the economy out there, especially when we talk about tourism.
You see, tourism, of course, is a great industry in Kashmir. There's no doubt about it. But it's an urban-based, or I would say town-based economy. Even still in Kashmir, we find that majority of the people, in fact, if you look at rural people, they are dependent on horticulture and agriculture apart from tourism. Tourism does figure as a very, very component on the economy, but I would say horticulture and agriculture are still the very,
so the people
significant items in economy.
So the people like us, Kashmir, I've only read in books. Kashmir is something I'm getting to know from you. Kashmir is something I have dreamt of it more beautiful perhaps than what it is. Right?
Absolutely.
So would you like a layman to know Kashmir just as a beautiful place or something beyond that?
I would say that the layman should try to understand what Kashmir is. When we traverse various parts of India, those people who are not familiar with Kashmir, they sometimes club all the three regions together. Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir together, which are, I would say, demographically different. They have only common political entities there. Otherwise, they are geographically different, economically different, socially different, in fact, all these three regions. When we say Kashmir, Kashmir means the valley that starts from Balehal and goes up to Baramulla. I would say.
Baramulla.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Kashmir is the valley part of the region.
Absolutely, sir. Kashmir is the northernmost geographical region, of course, we all know, the Indian subcontinent. So, Kashmir has a beautiful past too, which is often somehow, I won't say ignored, but yes, somewhere it is there only at the subconscious mind of the people that yes, it had a beautiful history. So I would request you, because you're a versatile historian, to throw some light on the beautiful history of Kashmir.
You see, the beautiful history of Kashmir is when we go back to early centuries, much before Kalana wrote his first history of India and first history of Kashmir.
So what century are we talking about, sir?
Kalana wrote, in fact, in 1149, mid of
12th century.
But if we go back, to early BCs, we have archaeological evidence about the evolution of human society and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Right from beginning, Kashmir has seen many transitions down to present day, in fact. But still, I would say that Kashmir is one of the beauteous lands because it has beautiful history of multiculturalism, history of plurality of religions, history of plurality of society, in fact, which has lived in quite in harmony with, nature as well as various other human societies of the world.
So all the people, like when they come to Kashmir, whether we talk of I'm bad at history, sir, but what all I recall at the moment, like the Sikhs came, and before that the Afghans came there,
Right,
and all that. So when they came, I mean, what was their perception? What was their attitude towards Kashmir? It was enhancing its beauty.
It was not
or harnessing.
I would say, if concept of colonialism could be extended to pre-modern societies, I would say that Kashmir has always been colonized. You see, for example, if you look at, we do find, ancient Kashmir where people came from various regions of the Central Asia and settled down in Kashmir and yet claimed themselves. Rather, they found, you see, if an Egyptian came, a Turkmen came, a Kazakh came, all these people who came and settled down in Kashmir, after settling in Kashmir, they said that they feel proud to be Kashmiris. They forgot about their civilizations. They all pooled their civilizational values,
so what that
to enrich Kashmir, in fact, in medieval times, for example.
Right.
But we do find that in 14th century, there was a civil war.
Okay.
After the 14th, 15th century, in fact, after that, Kashmir has constantly landed into trouble because it was taken over by Mughal state and incorporated into rest of India at that point of time. When the Mughals left, it was occupied by Afghans. If you look at the materials, if you look at the details, Kashmir provided the largest amount of revenue to Afghan kingdom.
So see, I was not wrong. My history teacher taught me well. I mentioned Afghans. So I remember that part of the history.
And the Afghans would say, Sar buridan pesh is sangin dilan gul chidanas. That means in Kashmir, when they exploited Kashmiris, they said that it is easy to, kill a Kashmiri rather than to pluck a flower in Kashmir. That was the exploitation of Afghans in Kashmir. There was immense amount of migration, the kind of migration that has taken place in most recent times. Similarly, under Afghan rule also, there was immense amount of migration. And this migration and this atrocity was not on single community. It was on all Kashmiris. When Afghans oppressed, they oppressed Shias, they oppressed Sunnis, they oppressed Kashmiri Pandits, they oppressed Buddhists. All people suffered this. Then it went to the Sikhs, it was ruled by Sikhs. During the Sikh period, we find that even though the exploitation was not so excessive, but at the same time, there were no welfare measures to sort of redeem Kashmiris or relieve Kashmiris from the kind of turmoil that they were in. After that, it was taken over by Dogra rulers. In Kanai once with the British resident and so on. And the Dogra rulers, in fact, they exploited the region in a much worse fashion, as a result of which we find in 1947, when we became part and parcel of integrated nation of India as a result of accession and so on, we do find that Kashmiris had some relief from the Dogra atrocities in terms of revenue extraction, in terms of forced labor and various other exploitative mechanisms. They had a great relief in 1947.
Right, sir. But I believe here the power of God and the beauty of God, because Kashmir is called the land of angels, gods and all. So nobody could even touch that because it shines and shines, like as I said, a jeweled crown on the map of India. So Kashmiris, like very beautiful people, right? You're wonderful to look at,
Right.
very fair. Ma'am is sitting here. I will map her the other time when I'll take off my video. There's a gentleman, Piyush, sitting out there. So beautiful people, fair people, simple people, as you said,
Right.
you know, that it is more easy, you know, to hurt them than to pluck the flower. That has really touched me. What is actually the perception of Kashmiris towards life? They're simple people, you know, simple people, you know, what kind of people they are?
You see, I would say, as you very rightly said, the people from mountainous region are generally simple, but Kashmiris are much more simpler in terms of, you know, I would say they, until most recent times,
Okay,
they had no fascination for material wealth,
okay.
as we find in rest of India. As a result of which you find in India, there is an immense amount of corruption. We as Kashmiris feel that this kind of, you know, sort of temptation for material wealth, temptation for corrupt means, that it has come from rest of India into Kashmir, that it was not there earlier. Because because their needs were also limited, their worldview was also, I wouldn't say worldview was limited, but I would say worldview was also region specific kind of thing. So therefore, that added to their beauty, because if you don't have too much of janjat, if you don't have too many problems to deal with, if you do not have too much of temptation for corruption, so you are simple, you are godly, you have contentment. And in that, I think some of these great Sanskritists, Persian scholars, Sufi saints, Bhakti saints like Laleshwari and many others, actually they also have a significant role in building that kind of an attitude in Kashmir.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're talking about why anybody would run after materialism or worldly affairs when they already have the biggest treasure of God with them. The
Yes.
apple orchards, the walnuts, the saffron, the beauty of the flowers, the tulips, so rivers,
And
lakes.
more importantly, the contentment.
The contentment with those things. So happy Women's Day, we celebrated on March 8th, right? Women are the face of the society. Beautiful Kashmiri women, right? I still remember my dad made us watch that movie Kashmir Ki Kali, right? And it was so beautiful. And we grew up with Kashmir is like that, and Kashmiri women are so beautiful. So, what exactly is the attitude of Kashmiri women towards life? Like
You see, Kashmiri women, in fact, I would say today, all the Kashmiri women, whether they are in Kashmir or they are outside Kashmir, they are distraught. Because the kind of violence that it has seen, both from the militant side and I would say anti-militant side, the kind of violence that they have seen, Kashmiri women do not like violence. Rather, I would say women anywhere in the world do not like violence.
Absolutely.
So the Kashmiri women today, in fact, their perception is they are really distraught. They are really distraught, I tell you, both in and outside Kashmir. Because the kind of circumstances that they are feeling day in and day out when they are dealing with their lives.
But they always, I have seen, so apart from this, of course, it's a fact we cannot ignore, but I've always seen them dressed up. You know, they very lovingly, very beautifully, very traditional, very traditional outfits and all. You know, so that really fascinates us, right? So we'll talk about the language. What languages do we speak in Kashmir?
You see, in Kashmir, proper we speak only Kashmiri.
Okay.
Yeah, Dogri is being spoken in Jammu, and Ladakhis have their own, separate language.
So say something in Kashmiri.
Kashmiri we say, "Kya sawari chuka? How are you?"
Okay.
Like that.
I'll try that. So,
"Kya sawari chuka?"
Kaishawari Shuka?
Yes,
I can do it.
Okay, like that, yeah.
अच्छा, आप कैसे हैं?
How are you? In the sense we say, Warichu.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, that's lovely. That's lovely. So, what about the literacy rate of Kashmir?
Literacy rate, is quite high compared to many other states. It's much better literacy rate. Because I don't take literacy in terms of simply, matriculate and so on. But overall literacy rate, if we compare them, it's much better than many regions of India.
Okay. I would also like our viewers to know about, because dance is the passion of life these days.
Right.
What about the speciality of dances there in Kashmir?
You see, in Kashmir we have sort of, I would say, one of the local dances which we call Kashmiri Rukh.
Kashmiri Rukh?
Yeah. So that is Kashmiri dance, yeah. But nowadays, what has happened, in fact, because they have also got mixed up with all kinds of things. You find Kashmiri girls speaking of Bharatanatyam, you find Kashmiri girls speaking of, Manipuri dance, you find Kashmiri girls speaking of the various other regional dances, because the more they got sort of intertwined with the rest of Indian traditions.
I just remember that one dance in Mission Kashmir presenter picturized on her. It's like Bumro,
yes, that's Kashmiri Ro.
That's a Kashmiri. Acha, that is Kashmiri Ro.
Yes.
Okay. So men and women, they both they participate in the Kashmiri dance?
Yes.
Like the Gujarati Garbas, men and women?
It's not like a Gujarati Garba. We still have the regional specificity of, sort of keeping the women undisturbed and leaving women's domain untouched in terms of culture, I would say.
That is so lovely.
Like that.
Wonderful. So that is Kashmir. We have talked so much about it. So moving on to the other question. So you please have water.
Yeah, no problem.
You're so tired. Please have water.
Yeah. Thank you.
So lamps do not talk.
Yeah.
Right? But they do shine.
They do shine. That's true.
In terms of faith, what religions are followed by Kashmiris? Because as I read, we have people there, having faith in Hinduism, then Buddhism, then Shaivism, Kashmiri Shaivism also came up, then Islam. So as such, what faiths and how people live there? With a lot of respect, mutual respect.
I would say that if you go back to early ancient times, they had... all people, in fact, were basically having tribal traditions, indigenous tribal traditions, external tribal traditions, which all got diluted into Kashmir Buddhism, earlier times. After Buddhism was defeated and after Buddhism began to disappear because of its internal contradiction, as well as because of the lack of patronage at the hands of rulers at that point of time. We can, I can show you historical evidence which is well known. The world's third Buddhist council was held in Kashmir in a place called Arhatvana, which is known presently Harvan. That was the kind of, when Buddhism was at its peak. We have one of the Kashmiri kings, Jaluka. You can look at the political side of it also, claiming himself to be the son of Ashoka, because he was so much aligned and so much associated with the rest of Indian Buddhist tradition. Even in political terms also. And Ashoka is supposed to have founded this town Srinagar in Kashmir. Ashoka is the founder. So after Buddhism declined, then we have on one side mother goddess cult is developing among the Hindus. On the other side we have like Shaivite cult is there, Shaktas, Tantrics, and later on we got the entire Kashmiri community consolidated into what is referred as Shaivite Trika philosophy of Shaivism, which keeps Kashmiri Pandit as a kind of, much more exclusive than the rest of the Shaivites in, say, be it Tamil Nadu, be it Andhra, be it various other regions of India. But Trika philosophy is where there is no question of belief in caste system, for example.
All right.
That's the question of Trika philosophy. Treats every soul equal, irrespective of religion, region, caste, and so on. After that, we found from 9th century onwards, the Turkish soldiers began to be deployed by Kashmiri rulers. With that, migration, which was earlier also from Central Asia and various other regions, including Eastern Europe, into Kashmir, we found that this trend of migration began to increase when Arab conquest of Central Asia took place 7th century AD. After that, we find that gradually Muslims began to penetrate to Kashmir Valley, and religion of Islam also made its appearance. So we had earlier Buddhist tradition, Shakta, Tantra, Shaivite, but alongside that ran Sufistic tradition of Islam in the beginning, and then of course well consolidated Islam in terms of both Shia, Shafi, Hanbali, Maliki, and even Ahmadiyya Islam also. We do have all these traditions within the valley.
And they all want peace.
They all want peace.
They all want peace.
No doubt about it, they all want peace.
The world want peace. Please.
Yes.
So let's contribute our bit, our home, society, college, education, offices.
Everything, yes.
Please.
Peace is utmost, I would say, every Kashmiri's mind. Peace is utmost, except few elements who must have got sort of fascinated by kind of, political tendencies across the border and so on. But peace is utmost in every Kashmiri's mind wherever they are.
Absolutely. And so if we cannot be a part of the solution, we should not also be a part
Of the
problem.
problem. Yes.
That's
you see, this is
well
a
said.
misnomer outside Kashmir or within Kashmir. It's a misnomer to say that, oh, Muslims in Kashmir are bad, Hindus in Kashmir are okay, Buddhists are like that, Dogras are like that and all. I would say, so far as Kashmiri community is concerned, whether they are Muslims and Hindus, they're all peace-loving people. They're all good people. These are perceptions, which are being imposed on them from external agencies. But Kashmiris are really peace-loving people. And they want peace. They want peace.
Kashmir has agroclimatic conditions in which is absolutely best suited, sir, for horticulture and floriculture, apple production, saffron harvesting. So let's talk something about agro-based industries out there.
You see, we don't have agro-based industries in a large scale. We do not.
But we do have.
We have for processing, this fruit juice and so on. But it's on a very, very small scale.
Okay.
There is plentiful of scope for mushroom production, for example.
Okay.
There is a variety of mushroom which is very, very costly, in fact, and which is grown only in Kashmir. Specifically, I tell you. Or, diversification of this fruit, apple, for example. We find in Indian markets the delicious being produced from Kashmir and being pumped, which is also used for wine making, liquor making and so on. But actually, this fruit could be also diversified. I have seen in most of Central Asia, Eastern Europe, the way every week you have a new apple in the market. In Kashmir also, if you look at different localities, for example, Sopore is different, Shupian is different, South Kashmir areas and so on, you could really diversify this production of apple apart from catering to these kind of industries and so on. You could diversify this. Walnuts, for example, you could do some more research on it, how a small tree could grow. Like in mango, we have now small trees growing mangoes. Why not in walnuts? Some research could be done on that also. Right. There's plentiful of scope of various other items. In fact, almond industry, for example, something could be done in that also. Okay. There is plenty of scope if the government has the will, and if really the government wants to work in these areas. I think there's a lot of scope in, that could also help contain unemployment problems, that could also give boost to economy and certainly bring down the kind of violence that's on.
So that was so lovely to hear, especially mushroom thing, it came as a surprise to me. So I'm getting a little personal here, just a little personal. So your fascination for apples. An apple a day keeps doctor away?
Yes. I eat apple almost every day.
Ah.
Yes.
So, like the first thing you have in the morning is an apple?
Not first thing, but certainly I take apple a day.
An apple a day.
Yeah.
And it does keep doctor away?
It does. Till now I have been kept away by doctors.
And if the doctor
by large, I would say.
And if the doctor is handsome, keep the apple away. That's all what we young girls used to talk in college days. Okay, so coming back to it. So, handicraft industry.
Yes.
Carpet weaving and all,
Right, shawl making.
So why is it so expensive when they come here?
You see, the problem is, I would say that actually the shawl industry of Kashmir has now by and large disappeared. Because the youth does not take to business. Youth does not take to industry. You cannot force a population, illiterate or otherwise, you cannot force a population of a particular region in rural areas and tell them that you concentrate on shawl weaving and then you do a business out of it. No. You can do it, because people have also aspirations to become officers, to become teachers, to become doctors, any other person like any other society. But what you could do to have this region-specific tradition promoted is that you could mechanize shawl industry. You could mechanize, carpet industry. Then a literate person, if somebody has done, say, MSc he has done some other degree, engineering he has done, then he could really, in addition to having a degree, does not necessarily mean that everybody should have a job. He could look after his own business if the industry is mechanized. The expenses of power, the expenses of mobility, the expenses of, transportation, that makes it. And above all, the fineness of art.
Yes.
You look at a Kashmiri shawl which is, done there and which has all kinds of, handwoven and handwork on that. That will certainly be a beautiful piece of shawl then the shawl is made in Himachal, then the shawl is made in any other part of the country.
Absolutely, they're so
So therefore,
popular.
yeah, absolutely. Therefore, the price goes up.
Right, therefore the price goes up. So basically, don't bargain when Kashmiri friends and brothers, they come to you because it's their hard work. This is how they earn their bread, their livelihood, and it's so beautiful. So that means it's a place for small and cottage industries.
It is. It's a place for small industries, even bigger industries also. I mean, could be. Suppose, for example, this locally a coach manufacturing unit could be produced there. Something like, with our software details, we could have some of the companies, doing software industry, development in Kashmir. It's much more suited for that climatically also.
Absolutely, sir. So the natural beauty and picturesque locations have made it a favorite destination, for tourists. We have already talked about it across the globe. And then, of course, the shooting of films. So do you recall any experience of your life when, and what is the attitude of Kashmiris when they are cool about it, or really they do crowd still when some shooting happens?
I wouldn't say now, but earlier, of course, I still remember when I was also a school-going boy. I remember Dharminder and I think some other lady was there along with Dharminder, Man Ki Aankhein. The film was going on and we would all come out of school and watch. And I still remember Dharminder being scolded by the film director when he would, while singing this song, Man Ki Aankhein film, he would lift his hand from the wooden railing because he was forgetting it. And the director would say, cut, and he would again go ahead with that. People used to throng these, on such occasions and so on. But now I think it has come home.
So it takes me to a question, because you said what class you were in at that point of time?
I think I must have been in 5th or 6th.
So a 5th, 6th, that means 12 years old? Hardly 12 years old? 10 or 12 years old?
I think it could be,
10 years old.
10, 11 years
10,
old.
11 years old. Class 5, 10.
Right.
Okay, sir. A Kashmiri boy of 10 years old to the day when he had been Vice-Chancellors of 2 big universities. What has not changed in this Kashmiri lad at heart?
My love for Kashmir.
Oh, beautiful. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So the movies I remember, Piyush, correct me if I'm wrong, Roja, Kashmir Ki Kali, Mission Kashmir.
Sangam.
Sangam was also in Kashmir?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
part of the
Part of it
shooting
was
is
in
there,
Kashmir. Any other movie that you're remembering, sir?
There are so
Man Ki
many,
Aankhein.
Man Ki Aankhein, so many of them. In
So
fact.
many
We
of
have
them.
almost in every film there used to be shot from Gulmarg, Pahalgam or Kukarnag and like that. And by the way, the school that I studied was Government High School Kukarnag. That is a tourist resort where most of these film industry people would go and shoot.
Lovely, sir. Lovely, sir. So Jammu and Kashmir is also, I've heard, it's a home to Asia's largest tulip gardens. Is it?
Yes.
You've been there?
Yes,
Many
I've seen
times?
it. Yes, many times. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly. It's one of the most, in fact, it's available on websites also in Google. It's one of the best tulip gardens in the world today. I would say. Most beautiful and most productive.
Okay, lovely. And now coming, because you're an educator, an academician, a historian, and you've given all your life, sir. I still remember your first talk where you told us that you write stories for moral science, lessons for the students. That was so lovely. Sir, let's talk about the education of Kashmir.
Yeah.
What exactly a child in Kashmir would like to do? The young kids, the girls, I mean, how they are brought up, that they have to get married and have kids in life, or really they have dreams to be engineers, doctors, dancers, artists. What it's like?
Kashmiris would like to diversify, in various directions now.
Okay.
Apart from the traditional careers like engineer and doctor, or a software engineer and so on. A Kashmiri would like to be an architect of the world repute, for example. A Kashmiri girl would like to be India's top heroine, in fact. That is, you see, this is the fire, among the Kashmiris. They would like to be the billionaires in the world.
Oh,
it's not simply that they want to make money, but they want to make a career. They would like to significantly contribute to science and technology.
Wonderful.
Because they are very, very competent, in that region and even outside when they go, for example.
That is so beautiful.
They have done wonderful in their, careers coming from a tiny village a boy, who rises to the very highest position in India or even abroad, in fact. They have the capacity, they have the knowledge, but they do not have the opportunity.
Right. So would you like to name some of your friends here? Your childhood friends who are still there.
My childhood friends, there were many of them, in fact.
No, I would like to name few, and others are not going to feel bad because jinka naam nahi liya jayega, they are in Sir's heart.
You see, there was one Ghulam Muhammad Sheikh, who was my class fellow. There was one, his name is Hiralal Pandita.
Okay.
There was one more person whose name was Abdul Ghani.
Oh.
Like that. Ghulam Nabi Padar.
So you're still in touch with them?
I am still in touch with many of them.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Many of them.
So how would you define friendship?
I would say friendship is in a human society, it's a fascination for human values.
Very beautiful.
Where those human values coincide, where they are almost similar, you become very close friends because you have liking for each other's value system.
That's beautiful, sir. That's beautiful, sir. Now, let me disclose a fact with you. While I was talking to Sir, I would love to remain absolutely non-political about it.
Right.
I'm not going to talk politics about it. That's one thing that keeps me away, in which I'm absolutely uncomfortable. But it's still the one question that, of course, is there at the mind of everyone, every Indian, every Kashmiri, I believe every native of this planet. We
Absolutely.
Want peace.
Peace in Kashmir.
We want peace.
Right.
So how can we contribute our ways in our perception through government? हमारी अपनी छोटी सी कोशिश कि हमारे वतन में, हमारे हर मुल्क में जो इस जमीन पर है, उसमें शांति हो.
Shanti ho. Yes, peace is uppermost, as I said in the beginning. Peace is uppermost in every Kashmiri's mind. Irrespective of religion and so on. I would say it is more now, certainly within the valley than outside.
Or we can say peace in itself is a religion now.
Peace itself is a religion. Religion cannot be pursued if there is no peace.
Absolutely.
You cannot meditate if there is a firecracker going on, if there are bullets being fired, and you can't meditate and pursue religion. But let me tell you, this is one of the very significant questions that you asked. You see, look at in 1947. In 1947, Kashmir got integrated with the rest of India. I should be allowed to give a little more elaborate answer for this. It got acceded to India. Sheikh Abdullah okayed it. And then in 1953, from 47 to 50, these circumstances were not pursued properly at the, I would say, all India level. There were certain concessions that had to be given, which for some period of time would have allowed the region to maintain its region-specific character.
Absolutely.
That was not given, to put it in a more coded language, I would say, as a result of which in 1953 agitations took place in UP, Punjab and other places, which virtually forced the government of India to put Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah behind the bars, and which also forced Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah to look back, because he was the champion of anti-feudal struggle in Kashmir, which people are forgetting today, to relieve them from the Dogra Raj and so on. So he had no ill will against the rest of India or against Indian policies, but he wanted some small arrangement to be done to recognize its region-specific character. When that was not done, we find from 1953 the trouble went on.
Oh yeah.
Two important things which are lacking. One is that government of India has not been able to grow oppositional ideology to politics in Kashmir. In this sense, like in UP you have a Samajwadi party which contests, say, Congress, or which contests BJP, for example. But in Kashmir you have one party, and if any other party is contesting it, it immediately takes Islam as a weapon. As a result of which you find that the opposition is not getting secularized in Kashmir's context. That is the second thing. Third thing, coming to the policies of India, we find that policies of India should have been proactive right from the beginning. But we find that those policies have immense amount of lethargy. Those policies have immense amount of lethargy, as a result of which we are not in a position to move forward. Look at, for example, we are not able to find a governor for Kashmir.
Absolutely.
I mean, nobody is indispensable for Kashmir, but if you keep one person, the policy itself would be fed up of the person, I can say.
Absolutely.
Or for example, when we say lethargy in policy, We have very good thinkers in police. We have very good thinkers in the military. Military is doing very fine job in Kashmir. Police also doing, but there should be intellectual investment also in the policy, and that has not been taking place.
So basically, you want to say is that the civilian unrest, it should come to an end.
It will come to an end.
It will
certainly come to an end.
That's
but
lovely.
We also need to look at the other aspects in terms of policy investment in Kashmir.
Absolutely. Very well taken, sir. Thank you so much. That was
I did not stretch it into it.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for it. Now, there are two beautiful segments. One segment when I'll be off of camera and I'll introduce a wonderful, wonderful person here. That is going to be our last segment for the show. But before that, sir, something very beautiful is here. It's all Greek to me.
Yeah.
It's all Greek to me. And sir, you please read out something beautiful from it. What it is.
They say, as we all say that there should be peace as the uppermost thing, for Kashmir.
Yeah.
So this is a poem which appeals to all the Kashmiris.
Lovely, sir.
So
lovely.
I'm the title of the poem is Kashmiriyon ko samajhna hai.
Kashmiriyon ko samajhna hai.
And I read it out for you.
Sure, sir. For everyone.
तुम फसादों के मुसव्विर मत बनो, हमको समझो तो जरा सी जहमत होगी, सारी वादी में दहशत क्यों है, नेक नीति से संभालो तो इबादत होगी, शोरगुल क्यों है इतना आशियाने में, आशियाना मीन्स कश्मीर में, तुम जो चाहो तो जरा सी जन्नत होगी, चल दिए जो हमसे नाला होकर, वो न आएंगे फिर कयामत होगी, क्यों जमाने को टटोले फिर से, अब वहशियाना फिर सियासत होगी, पूरे आलम में हुए बदनाम जाकर, अब भी रोको तो ये रहमत होगी, जो तबाही मच गई है अब तक फिर संवारेंगे जब भी फुर्सत होगी, जो सितारे खो गए हैं धुंध में फिर से चमकेंगे जब भी मोहल्लत होगी, फिर से बुनियाद डालो ऐसे घर की. दिस इज व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग टू ऑल द कश्मीरीज. फिर से बुनियाद डालो ऐसे घर की, अपनी भी एक ऊंची इमारत होगी.
Beautiful. अपनी भी एक ऊंची इमारत होगी. इमारत है, and that's of peace.
That's Kashmir and peace.
Thank you so much, sir. And we'll have a beautiful segment right now. And what is that? That's a surprise. Stay connected. Hey, we have a wonderful couple here. Prof.R.L.Hangloo with his wonderful, wonderful, sweet wife, Sharika Hangloo. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
Hi, ma'am. Say something to our channel. How is life and everything at your end?
Life is fine. I am enjoying in Allahabad.
आपको इलाहाबाद कैसा लगा?
It is great. It is a good place. I like to stay here.
You're comfortable in speaking Hindi, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Ah, sure.
Yes.
You had been to Sangam?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, a liner about ma'am.
A line about ma'am. As I said last time also that she is my strength.
Yes, she's a strength. She's your lifeline.
And she's lifeline, and also she's the, source of my peace.
Okay, a song that you would love to dedicate to ma'am.
Song तो मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा.
याद कर लीजिए सर, पिछली बार भी आपको याद नहीं आया था.
दोनों मिटा के हस्ती को जो दर गुजर के वो साथ साथ के भी आंसू भरे थे.
Wow. And ma'am, your song for sir?
My song for sir. जहाँ मैं जाती हूँ वहीं चले
चोरी चोरी मेरे दिल को चुरा समाते हो. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you. May God bless you and may your togetherness be blessed by God till eternity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rashi.
Thanks,
Thank
Rashi.
you.
Thanks, Rashi.
And that reminds me of the words of Emerson. Never lose an opportunity to see anything beautiful. It could be a fair face, it could be a fair heart, it could be the fair sky, it could be a fair flower, because that is God's handwriting and a wayside sacrament. Beautiful talk on Kashmir, sir. I'm really overwhelmed and I'm really grateful to you.
Thank you, my pleasure.
On behalf of your hundreds, thousands and millions of people who'll be watching, I would request you to share it to the maximum. Let Kashmir reach every heart.
Everywhere, and let Kashmir be peaceful.
Yes.
Right.
Great.
Yes. And Prof.R.L.Hangloo, Vice-Chancellor of University of Allahabad,
Thank you,
Uttar Pradesh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Uttar Pradesh, India. God bless.